Hello everyone, this is Ashutosh Raut. This is our third video on DP 900 exam summary. In this video, we will be covering module 3 for the DP 900 exam. So, module 3 is non-relational data in Azure. So, first we have here is Azure storage. So, Azure provides four main type of storage services. So, first one is the Azure Blob Storage. Um, So it is a storage service for very large objects such as video files or bitmaps. And the second one we have is Azure File Storage, which can be accessed and managed like a file server. So it is a network file system basically, which can be used by several machines at the same time. Third one is the Azure Queue Storage. This service is used for delivering messages between the applications. And the fourth one is Azure Table Storage. So Azure Table Storage stores non-relational structured data uh, and provides a key attribute store with a schema-less design. So these are the four types of Azure storage. So now let us start with the Azure Blob Storage. So Azure Blob Storage offers three types of resources: the storage account, the container in the storage account, and a blob in the container. So this is you can say hierarchy. And then the block blobs. So first one is the block blobs, which store text and binary data. uh, then we have append blobs, which are ideal for logging data from virtual machines, and the page blobs, which store random access files up to 8 TB. Page blobs are also used as disks for virtual machines. So these are three types are there as a part of Azure storage. And so a most important part of Azure Blob is it is the only option in Azure which support the access tiers. So we have three access tiers, and these three access tiers are very important from exam perspective. So you'll find many questions on these access tiers. So the first one is the as a hot access tier. So hot access tier is used when the data is accessed frequently. Then there is cool access tier. So cool access tier is used when the objects need to be stored for minimum of 30 days. So if there is a requirement that where data can be stored for minimum of 30 days, then we can go with the cool access tier, so that we will be having a minimum cost, optimum cost, and uh, we cannot waste money basically. The next one is archive access tier. So it is used when objects are accessed rarely and it is not available at the account level. It is additional point which is there, so it is not available at the account level. The next one is this picture you can see, which is showing that the hierarchy. So first we have account here, Sally is the account name. Then we have container. So let's say we have two containers here, one for pictures and one for movies. And then we have blobs like images, in we have several images in the pictures. And then we have one move one dot avi video, you can say, under movies container. So this is the hierarchy. The second storage service that we have is Azure Files, and it is a cloud-based network drive which is accessible by multiple users, and it is accessible by SMB and NFS protocol. So highlighted points are important. So both general purpose version 2 and file storage account support the Azure file storage. So basically there are two types of storage accounts, general purpose version 2 and file storage account. So both of these accounts support Azure file share, but storage account and standard file share uh, only in general purpose version 2. So this is important to remember, as I have seen question on this. And next point is that the maximum size of a single file is 1 TB, and Azure File Storage supports 2000 concurrent connections per shared file. So let's say you have one shared file, so 2000 maximum 2000 users can access that file, so that connections. And the Azure File Storage support direct mounting by Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. All three operating systems. So next type of storage is Azure Tables. So first and very important point about Azure Tables is it supports multi-region reads only. I have seen questions on this point several times, and that's why I have included here. The next one is that the Azure Tables usually hold denormalized data, with each row holding entire data for one logical entity. And the next point is the data in Azure Tables is stored in the form of rows and columns, and it forms a table in which columns may vary according to each row. So this highlighted point is important. Then rows in table are split into partitions, and related rows are grouped together based on some common property, which is nothing but partition key. So partition key identifies the partition inside Azure table storage, and a row key is used to uniquely identify each row. So this is a difference between partition key and row key. Basically partition key and row key are related to Azure tables. The next one is Azure Cosmos DB. So Azure Cosmos DB is nothing but NoSQL database which supports multiple APIs. So we have core or SQL API, which is key value format. It manages data in JSON document format. It uses SQL syntax to work with the data. It is also pretty much important. All these types, whatever they are on screen, you will definitely find question on this in the exam. The next one is the MongoDB API. It stores data in binary JSON format, and it uses MongoDB query language to work with the data. The third one we have is the table API, which is also key value format. It stores data in the key value format, same as Azure table storage, and it supports multi-region reads and writes. So I have seen one question several times that uh, like this table API support multi-region reads and write, and one that we saw earlier that Azure table supports multi-region reads only. So this is a question which will confuse you several times. The next one is Cassandra API. So Cassandra API is used to work with column family database, and it supports a syntax based on the SQL. And Gremlin API is the graph database. So if you know one point for all these APIs, then also it will be very helpful in the examination. So in the examination, their aim will be what is the API and what it is used for. If that's what you know, then it will be sufficient. Then there is storage account. So there are three types of storage account that we have. So first one is the general purpose version 2 account, which is used to like store blobs, files, queues, and tables. The next one we have is premium performance tier, which stores unmanaged virtual machine disks. And the third one is the standard performance tier, which stores blobs, files, tables, queues, and Azure virtual machine disks. The fourth one is the hierarchy. I have seen several questions on hierarchy as well. So we have a resource group. Under resource group, we have storage account. Under storage account, we have a container, and under container, we have items. And the next one and last one is the replication options. So there are four replication options. First one is the locally redundant storage, which copies data three times in primary region. And we can have this locally redundant storage with premium and standard, both the tiers. The next one is the geo redundant storage and read only geo redundant storage, which copies three times in primary region and to secondary region. So it is more it will provide more high availability. So it is also uh, for premium and standard storage tier. The next one is this zone redundant storage. So it copies data across three availability zones in primary region. And the last one is geo zone redundant and read only geo zone redundant. So it provides high availability and durability. And so the last two, we can go for last two options only with the standard tier only. So it is also important to remember. So that's all we have in module 3. So thank you.